say without knees coming one, right? So we'd go through as high as you possibly can. Mobility. What's our mobility?
What did I say?
Band walks.
Do band walks. We could do something as simple as.
So today we're going to go through CARS, what's called controlled articular rotations. It's a great mobility exercise for all different sorts of joints throughout our body. It's 1 rep. It's very hard. You'll go through about 3 each side, and that's going to be our mobility warm-up for our hips. It's going to strengthen our body through our arms all the way down into the ground, through the floor. Okay, tightening up her quads, her calves, holding onto a pole, so you can get into a gym and kind of anchor onto something. You're imagining a pencil on your knee and you're making the biggest circle you possibly can. Let's bring her knee up to her chest as high as she can, right? As high as she possibly can. She's gonna rotate this hip out towards my finger. Nice and slow. Get out, closer, closer, internally rotate the hip and bring it in, right? So she's gonna go back the opposite way. Nice and slow, knee up higher, higher. Follow my fingertip. Higher, higher, higher. And that's 1 full rep. Ramp up your body 20%, 40%, 60%, about 80% of rep. Nice and slow. Come out, keep going, internally rotate. Keep that knee up, come here, come back here. Keep that knee up, heel towards butt. Stay tall, knee in, relax. That's a half a rep. Back, heel to butt, knee out, follow my fingertips, nice and slow. Stay tall. Knee up, knee up, knee up, higher, higher. Follow my fingertips. Good. Keep coming in, coming in, coming in. And that's 1 full rep.
Woo!
How hard was that?
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was really hard.
Yeah, very hard.
Next one we're going to work on is an activation for our glutes. Here we have a mini band. Nice resistance band you can use. You can order these online. They're super cheap, super easy to find. Good. So we're going to activate here by setting up in our normal squat stance. And you're really going to focus on driving the knees apart here to keep everything in the lower body activated. Hips back, nice tall spine, chest is up. Good, and you see his spine is tall here, coming all the way down, driving his knees apart. Perfect.
All right, so here's our second activation exercise with the mini band. There's so many different things you could do with a mini band. Here's our second one for our squat.
Follow this up with coming back to that squat position. I want you to sink down low so you're holding at that parallel position. Good, and you're going to give me a monster walk forward. Rolling forward from heel to toe, keeping that spine tall. Keep driving those knees apart and then backwards. So you're going to keep pushing back here. Now you're going to roll from toe to heel, coming all the way back. You'll really feel your glutes activating through this.
So I'm stretching the band as wide as I can, keeping my knees pointing out, right?
Yes.
And I definitely feel it in my hips, and I think they're ready for squats. Today we're going to work on the squat. I brought out a pole to show us good posture throughout our squat. So what Sam's going to do is... Oh God, Joe.
Look at me, I'm up there like a schmuck. You're out here getting a tan.
Happy client.
Happy clients, right? What Sam's going to do is put this pole down her back, right? She's going to try and keep 3 points of contact. So the back of her head, her shoulders, and her butt. Right? So she's keeping those 3 points of contact. We're working on driving those knees out. She's gonna shoot her hips down and back. Go lower. Come right back up. Notice as she goes lower, again, she's keeping those points of contact. Her torso is even with the lower part of her legs. So look at it one more time. This is almost parallel to this. And that's what we're looking for. Sometimes it's okay if the knee goes forward in front of that toe, as long as you're shooting those hips back and you're keeping your spine tall. So if she took this away, let's take this away and deep squat. Almost the same exact posture, right? And comes right back up. Sam, what are some cues that we talk to clients about when we're trying to teach them how to squat?
The general setup for a squat is you want to make sure that your feet are about hips width, shoulder width apart, that you have enough room. Depending on the width of your hips, you can adjust that a little bit, but this is a general start for most people. And you're going to slightly point the feet outward. They don't have to be perfectly forward, again, depending on the hips. Let's start activating the lower body.
So I'm pushing out on the soles of my feet, essentially trying to spread my feet. So if my feet were on a tile floor and I only had socks on, I'd go into a split. But right now, since I'm on concrete and I got shoes on, I'm really just pushing on the outsides of my sole. And what that does is kind of turns on everything on the outside. And what it's gonna do is protect our spine.
Descend back into the squat. You're gonna bring your hips back, keep your chest up nice and tall. Sit down as low as you can. Good, getting to that parallel point. Excellent.
So am I activating throughout the whole time? Am I pushing out the whole time?
Yep, you're keeping that throughout the entire length of the squat.
I'm pushing out, my knees might slightly come out. I'm bringing my butt and hips back. I'm still pushing out, my hips are down, staying pushing out, come up tall, and I stand up tall, right?
That's it.
All right, I think we got it. Awesome, that's the squat, guys. So right now I'm meeting Sam for lunch, and we're gonna go over some things with nut butters. So she should be right around the corner here. Oh, look who it is, Rocky, the beautiful Rocky. What do we got here?
We have
By the way, Sam is like the
peanut butter queen.
or the nut butter queen. So what do we got? We got almond butter. She's eating it right now.
Peanut butter.
Dripping it everywhere. We got organic peanut butter, organic honey, sunflower butter, and smooth almond butter. Okay. So let's go over some, healthy facts about nut butters.
A nut butter, if you want a good quality nut butter, your ingredients are going to be the nut itself, usually some type of oil, sometimes there can be a salt or honey, in this case a little bit of extra flavoring.
Okay.
What we have here and in most of these are going to be just peanuts, sunflowers, and almonds.
Okay.
The other ingredient here is salt. That's
Salt.
it.
Okay. So
Really healthy, all natural, unlike other peanut butters that can have, or other nut butters that can have other additives, sweeteners, just to kind of give them a longer shelf life, a little bit of different flavoring. Not really the best for you as far as all natural and being the healthiest you can possibly be, so I always recommend getting something with as minimal meat ingredients as possible.
So usually I remember when as a kid I would make PB&Js and they'd be like Skippy or Jiffy. Those wouldn't be the right things to get.
No, those aren't particularly ideal. Those tend to have other ingredients in them. When they start to get ingredients in them that you can't really pronounce them, that gets a little bit questionable.
Okay. All right. What is it mostly made of?
Nut butters are predominantly fats.
Okay.
They're an essential part of our diet. You can see here in the peanut butter we have 16 grams of fat for one serving.
Okay.
2 tablespoons. This one we have also 16 grams. This one is 17. So depending on the type of nut, you can have a different type of fat content.
Okay. If we were to go buy these at the stores, do we keep them in the fridge? Do we keep them in the cupboard? What will we do?
When you have something all natural like that, you're going to see that you're going to get some oil separation. That's normal. That's because the only two ingredients really in here are the nut butters and the oil that makes them. You can see it in the almond butter as well.
So there's some little like oil on the top.
Yeah, to prevent that, you can mix it up, but my favorite way to store it is just upside down in the fridge.
Put it upside down, what happens? The oil comes to the top and then it stays there when you flip it over?
It'll stay like this, so then this way it'll be more settled amongst the entire jar of nut butter, and then when you flip it back over, it won't be so oily at the top. You might still need to mix it a little bit, but it won't be so much at the top.
Okay, so that was Sam and her nut butters, which she's the nut butter queen. And Mike loves nut butters, doesn't he?
I love them.